Transformers 1 was just released, and after a lot of skepticism, especially on my part, this may very well be one of the best Transformers movies to date. I was very skeptical. I wasn't a huge fan of the animation and the overly humanoid look of them, but after like 5, 10 minutes of watching the movie, my worries about that went completely out the window. This movie's a lot of fun. I had such a fun time. It was really comedic. I didn't expect it to be as comedic, but about 90% of the jokes hit their mark. They were really well done. Bumblebee was very comedic. I mean, if you have Keegan-Michael Key playing anything, he's always going to be comedic. He's always going to be hilarious. I feel like he's kind of like Ryan Reynolds in that way, where you go into a movie with him in a role, you always know he's going to be funny. With that being said, I don't know how I feel about Bumblebee being that comedic, especially just given prior movies. But he was fantastic comedic relief. There's actually a story in this movie, kind of besides just the Megatron Optimus Prime that you expect going into it. And I gotta say, I was really tired of best friends turn enemies, but they pulled it off. They pulled it off well, and I know that's how it was like in the 90s and the 80s, but I was tired of it going into this, but this could be a really good direction for Transformers.
I'm an 80s kid, so for me this makes it makes perfect sense. I'm very used to the humanoid face because except for Optimus Prime, if you go back to the 80s cartoon, because he had that visor thing on his mouth, most of them had a humanoid face. I'm okay with Bumblebee being a little bit comedic because that's how he was in the original anime. There's been so many iterations of the Transformers animated series, but I'm talking about the 80s animated series. Like Griff, I was skeptical of this movie because, well, Michael Bay. I can honestly say I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. I am a sucker for friends become enemies because it's a tale as old as time, and I
It
love it
is.
when it's pulled off right. It's fantastic. The comedy in this movie, like Griff says, it lands. The action is awesome. The animation, it's the dude that worked at Pixar for fucking, I don't know, 20 years. And he did a lot of that stuff. So I was okay. As soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, we're in good hands. The cast, I knew it was Chris Hemsworth. And a lot of people were like, oh, he's gonna ruin the obviously this is the title says it all, Transformers One. So it's not the Optimus Prime that most of us are used to. I'm okay with that. This is a prequel for all intents and purposes. And for all you guys that bitch and complain about like, it's too many humans involved. Transformers, Cybertron, go.
Yep.
Them having to unlock their powers. I don't think that's a spoiler. I mean, you guys saw the
It
trailer.
was
Most of you
very
guys
Power
probably.
Rangers-ish.
I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about that at first, but how they go about it, how they team up, the funny moments in between, loved it, man. And like I said, the cast is phenomenal. They got Lawrence Fishburne in this bitch, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
those like Scarlett Johansson, they have such a
they
good
have
cast
Steve
for an
Buscemi in here.
animated movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No, they
He
spent
would
their
be
money
fun
on
as
this movie,
Starscream.
man.
He'd be fun to come back as Starscream. I liked him.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot. John Hamm's in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I like Bumblebee.
Yeah. Bumblebee, I think, was a
I always
really
like Bumblebee though.
I feel like he's
It's
like Optimus Prime's the face of it, but everyone loves Bumblebee. I mean, you go out, you see a bunch of people driving Bumblebee cars. When I parked at the theater, I parked next to a Bumblebee car, and I 100% guarantee they were here for this movie. And it's like that everywhere. And as you were saying with animation, it is pretty animation, yes, but also the cinematography they're able to do with it and the visual effects that they had with it as like the characters grow and develop, I thought was really well done. And especially with Megatron's eyes, that was so cool. Having that like half a second delay with the red trail was, I loved that. When I geeked out about that when that happened. That was so good.
yeah, I agree. I think the look of the movie. I remember when we saw the trailer, Griff was like, I don't know. And I was like, I think it'll win you over, man.
Yeah.
I remember his complaint was like the humanoid face. I was like, no, I think that'll win you over too.
Sadly, I'm used
Uh,
to Michael Bay. That was my introduction.
yeah, that a lot of people were like, Bumblebee looks weird. It's because you're used to that Michael Bay weird shit. Which, funny enough, he also used a lot of humanoid faces.
Yeah.
Um, just not as much as we see
Not as
here.
pronounced.
but I was happy to see Cybertron. Yeah, anytime we can explore like these planets of origins or like where these things come from, I'm psyched about that, man.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to see like the Predators' home planet, not a fucking base off in space, but like their home planet, Krypton. That's one of the things I enjoy a lot about Zack Snyder's Man of Steel is we saw more of Krypton. This
It was like
was for
solid
me,
10
was
minutes. Yeah.
yeah, in other Transformers movies, maybe we get like snippets of Cybertron. Here we saw Cybertron. And I liked that. It was an enjoyable movie. I thought Chris did a great job as Optimus Prime.
Honestly, if you even vaguely like the idea of Transformers, if you're sick of Michael Bay, or even if you enjoy him, you are more than likely going to enjoy this movie. It's a lot of fun. It's comedic, fantastic action, great cast. Transformers 1 is definitely one you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, definitely. This is headed in the right direction. Probably going to get a sequel
Oh,
if the
yeah.
numbers do well. I could see them like continuing in animated form.
This
I
could be
think
a
this is
good
the way to go.
franchise. This could be a good direction. I'm very excited. And if you enjoy Transformers 1, we really think you're going to like Terminator Zero. It's just released on Netflix. It goes back to Judgment Day and gives you a different take and a different perspective.